it is better to have no friends than bad friends.
But when did you have bad friends after you
Dude,
were
like
18?
all of my high school friends, my life would have been better if I just talked to none of them. If I just cut every single person off, my hard truth for young men age 18, it's better just to like cut out those people and have no one than it is to keep them around. And the pain is worth it. Welcome to Entropy. My name's Aman. I'm a YouTuber and entrepreneur.
I'm Aadil. I'm a former quant and current AI engineer.
We're two brothers working in tech and business.
And you're listening to The Entropy Show,
The weekly podcast where we discuss self-improvement,
focus, and the fight against disorder in our lives. This is Entropy.
All right, welcome to Entropy. Aadil, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing a lot of interview prep, learning a lot about distributed systems for my engineering interviews. So first time I've really looked at distributed system stuff in detail. There's this YouTuber called Jordan Has No Life. And he makes like a really good systems design interviews. And he's like this guy with like a bunch of acne and stuff. He's like a weird looking guy. But he's like the best systems design YouTuber. Has like 70K subscribers. So I've been watching a lot of Jordan Has No Life.
That's good.
What else?
How's your you're in Berkeley currently?
Yeah. Just doing well. Have a lot of interviews coming up.
You're like renting your girlfriend's apartment, right?
Yeah. I'm living.
It's in the same building as your other one, right?
What do you mean?
Didn't she used to live in the same building as you?
Yeah, but she moved, so it's a different.
Oh, okay.
building. Yeah.
Is it a
So I
one
have
bedroom
lot
or
of
two bedroom?
interviews and stuff. It's 2 bedroom, but her roommate's not here.
Oh,
It's
so you
just
just have
me.
the entire place.
Yeah.
That's good. So how many
Yeah,
interviews
but
have you gotten?
basically, I mean, this is Amon's business is like recruiting, right? And recruiting coaching. So I guess you would be interested. I have like, I think maybe 6 first rounds. I have a final round next week, but I just started last week, so we'll see.
How many applications?
Dude,
did you submit?
dude, I have like an 80% interview rate for application.
That's good.
The reason is because when you're like quite qualified, headhunters will reach out to you to get you to apply to companies, right? So my conversion rate is extremely high because I don't apply online anywhere. And I'm working with like 3 or 4 headhunters at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have these headhunters go and talk to the recruiters for me and get me the interview.
Yeah, their
So-
full-time job is to find qualified candidates,
Yeah.
and they get a massive commission if their person they bring is hired.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're like very qualified, it's much easier because headhunters will want to work with you. So
Mhm.
you don't actually have to worry about getting the interview yourself.
Yeah,
So I'm not
Well-
like DMing guys on LinkedIn for referrals. Like I just
yeah.
call, I send the headhunter, I'm interested in this type of company. What do you have for me in the Bay Area? You know?
Mhm. So these
Yeah.
headhunters, they work with all sorts of companies, not just big companies. They do it for startups too.
Big companies generally don't have headhunters. It's usually startups and quant companies.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it depends. Like a headhunter just connected me with OpenAI. So I'm interviewing at OpenAI next week.
That's good.
So some big companies still work with headhunters.
That's actually really
Yeah.
interesting. The whole headhunter model.
Yeah.
I was thinking I should get into that. I should be a headhunter.
No.
Why not?
Dude, it's like I don't think it's a good business to be in. First of all, it's very competitive. There are hundreds of headhunting firms because the barrier to entry is extremely low.
Really?
The moat you have is the interpersonal connections you have with your candidates and the companies, right?
Yeah.
So I think your business is significantly better than a headhunting business.
No, but the example I bring up is, Cole Gordon's business, right? His business,
Yeah.
he has 2 sides of the business. One is called Remote Closers Academy, and it's basically like getting random people and training them to be salespeople. So he has like a whole academy. He has instructors. He has teachers. He has this stuff. Then he has the sales recruiting side of the business called Sales Team Accelerator, where it's like a B2B offer where he'll give them like X number of salespeople. And he gets those from Remote Closing Academy. So he'll like, some guy will pay him like 5 to 10K to train him how to be a salesperson. Then some business will pay him 15K to get that salesperson. Right?
Sure.
So it's like a 20K deal. I'm helping people. I'm training people, helping them get jobs in tech. But I'm not like, the tech companies are not paying me to get my guys.
Sure.
You know what I
But
mean?
at the same time, I think most headhunters work with extremely qualified candidates, ones that would not pay for your program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because their background is like already very good.
Yeah.
So they're not working with guys who like need help getting an internship. they're working with guys like me who are picking
Mhm.
between making 500,000 plus in quant or like joining a top startup, right?
Maybe,
So
potentially. Are you
yeah,
100% sure that all the headhunters are like
I
working
don't
with
know
people in
about the
quant?
headhunters I've worked with, and the ones that will make the most money per
Mhm.
candidate are the ones who are hiring or getting candidates that make a lot of money, high profile candidates.
Yeah. Well, usually it's the way the headhunters paid is it's like 15% of the annual salary or something of the person who's
Yeah,
hired.
some percentage.
So
Yeah,
it's like these guys will earn like a huge amount. They'll earn like
yeah,
30 40k or like 20 to 30k at least if you're hired.
yeah. Like if they refer a guy who gets like a 550K offer for a quant company,
Mhm.
right? They've just like one shot at 100K.
Yeah,
Right
right there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
right there and then.
yeah.
So that's why they're like scrambling to like DM people on LinkedIn and stuff like that to get the best people.
Yeah, but at the same time, the chance of one candidate actually going to a company that you refer them to, then passing all the interviews and then
Mhm.
picking it is very low.
Yeah, that's
So
true. So
these
they probably
guys
have like a
might
large
they
volume.
might match, I don't know, but I'm guessing like 2 to 4 guys a year or something like that.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
probably have like a
Yeah.
pipeline of a couple hundred guys,
Yeah.
and they probably have relationships with 5 to 10 other companies. Many of them, many quant companies that they're trying to like refer them to, and they know the recruiters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually similar to a brokerage business for like. So I'm actually, as you know, I'm considering moving to New York this summer. So option A was, and do you know anything about the New York real estate market from Enzo?
No, I don't. Why?
You know, because he found the apartment for you, right?
Yeah, I didn't do any of the work.
Yeah. So apparently, it's like incredibly competitive to get an apartment in New York City, and the reason is because all these foreign millionaires and billionaires they bought up a ton of real estate in New York, right? So they'll buy
Oh,
like whole apartment buildings, penthouses, all this stuff because that's them like money. They're storing their foreign money. Like let's say these Russian oligarchs will buy like several buildings in New York just to store the money there in the real estate because like Putin might like overthrow them and just take their fortune, right? If it's in Russian interest, so they can flee to the U.S. and then liquidate their like New York penthouse, right? But it's not on the market for rent. So they've bought up like these foreign interests have bought up a significant amount of the land in New York City that instead would be apartments that are rented, which has driven up the rates significantly, which is why New York is so expensive. Meaning, like, as you know, like a one bedroom apartment is like $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
yeah.
Or
It
it's like
depends what
4,000
area.
for a one
If you're
bed.
like in a nice area, like yeah,
If you're in like a
5K.
decent area, but even
Yeah.
like in a bad area, I know a guy, my friend from high school, Peyton, or from middle school, he's paying like 2.5 to 3K a month for his one bedroom and a three bed, and it's like not like a luxury apartment or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in Raleigh, North Carolina, I pay 2,000 a month for a two bed. So each of
Yeah.
us pay 1,000 a month, right?
And it's
So
bigger.
and it's bigger and nicer, and there's amenities, and there's a gym, and there's a pool, and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why New York is so competitive. So because of that, it's like a landlord's market. So like for every landlord has 5 to 10 guys trying to get it, especially the best apartments, the ones that have good location, good lighting, not overly expensive. They'll have five. They have their pick of the litter when it comes to who's going to get that apartment. So much so that people trying to rent the apartment will have to send application. They'll send an application. They'll
Yeah.
do like a video. They'll do like a video interview. They sometimes have to do cover like a references. So like here are 3 references to my old landlord saying that I'm a great tenant.
Yeah.
Why you should pick me. And then they actually outlawed in the past you could be able to like barter with them being like I'll pay a year upfront of rent
Yeah.
to get this place. And then they recently outlawed that because they're like it's unfair to like people who don't have a lot of money because they can't just offer rent like a whole year of rent upfront. So you can't do that to get the apartment. So it's really competitive to get an apartment. So most people will like spend 40, 50, 60 hours traveling to apartments, talking to the landlords, trying to like negotiate, get the apartment. So I just decided to take a broker to do it. So the way the broker does it is they're like a headhunter. So they have the relationships with all the landlords. They know all like the properties. You just tell them what they want. Then they'll go and find you a good option in your price range, what you want. They'll give you 2 or 3 options. You go there for one day, look at it, say, I'll take this. Then they'll just like do all the work, all the paperwork. They'll say, okay, just that you have it now. And then you just
Yeah.
pay them one month of rent for facilitating that transaction between them.
Yeah, we used a broker. I remember now.
I'm sure you guys use a broker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that broker like it was 20K a month, right? That broker made 20K off you guys.
Dude, it was like 35 or something. Or something
35K a month?
I don't know. Like the broker fee was like 35K.
Oh, the
or
broker
something.
fee's 15% because it was
Yeah.
okay, so there's 2 kinds of broker fees. In the less good places it's 1 month, in the really good places it's 15% of the annual rent.
Yeah, it was like 35K this guy
Yeah.
made or
So look,
something like
you guys
that.
blew 35K on this broker
Yeah.
to go and find this Tribeca apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting model because the brokers like they facilitate that transaction and they get like 1 month of rent. So
Yeah. But it is quite nice to have these headhunters kind of like
mhm.
working for me to get me interviews.
Yeah, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you don't have to like prostrate yourself down to like go to these companies because
Yeah.
most people are not like that. Most people I work with, obviously, they're normal students and they are getting offers. Like we are, if we get like great offers on our results page, right? But it is a grind. It's not like so easy where just a headhunter just comes and gives you an offer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then the only places I've interviewed at are either through a headhunter or like a referral, so I know someone at the company.
Mhm. That's why you have such a high rate as well.
I think I have 100% rate so far. Of like I've asked the
Yeah.
headhunter, "Oh, intro me to this company," or referral, "Can I have referral to this company?"
Mhm.
So far, I'm at 100%.
Yeah.
Though I've only talked to 6 or 7 companies. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
like
it's a very
7 for
different
7.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very different way. I think another reason why you're like that is because your resume is not commoditized.
Yeah, my resume is like extremely
It's very
unique and
niche.
very good.
It's very
Right.
unique. It's very niche. It's very specific knowledge
Yeah.
compared to like a lot of the problem with the CS industrial complex is that every university is printing out thousands of computer science majors with the same projects and the same classes and the same degree and the same everything. So a normal software engineering job has become commoditized, where
Yeah.
like you'll have like 20 guys with the exact same resume. So now it's the
The nor-
employer's pick.
the new grad job is like the landlord. The company's like the landlord in New York, and then the applicants are like the tenants in New York for the new grad software
Yeah.
engineering job.
And it's
Yeah.
because these universities, like basically the universities saw like an arbitrage opportunity. They were like, okay, 20 to 30 years ago, there was a lot of opportunity in computer science and tech because there were not that many jobs. There were not that many people who could do that job back then.
Yeah, in the mid to late 90s during the dot-com bubble.
It was like the dot-com bubble, right? So at this time,
any
it was
any
not,
guy walking down the street would throw a keyboard at him and get
Yeah.
him like a software engineering job.
Back in the
Yeah.
day, it was not uncommon for someone to quit one job as a software engineer, walk down the street in Silicon Valley, and get a job at the competitor, almost often earning twice as much.
Yeah.
Back then, back in the 90s, right? Because there was such an under supply of people who could do programming and software engineering and such a huge demand for it. And then all the universities saw that and they were like, okay, let's add CS majors now. So let's try to like build this into our university because people are going to pay us 200, like between 50 to 200K or something for that degree because they think it's like a great job opportunity. Oh, like the arbitrage is there. I'm going to do the CS major. But the problem is that all the universities have it now. And also, everyone thinks that it's such a good job opportunity. So therefore, everyone goes and does it. The universities make a ton of money. Actually, the universities win from this whole situation because, for example, computer science is the biggest major at the University of Wisconsin-Madison nowadays.
Dude, I don't know if universities win because they win by total headcount, not what people are choosing to major in.
Sure,
So the
that's
only
true.
way they make more money is just expanding headcount in the university in general.
Yeah, but for example,
So-
like there are probably people who, if computer science wasn't an option and it didn't have the allure of like, oh, it's such a lucrative field, like it makes my 200K investment very valuable, then they might not have gone to university. They might have done something else, right? Or they
You
might
mean
have done.
They
something,
might not have gone to some private school. So
yeah,
total
some private
headcount
school
would
or
be less.
something.
I
Yeah.
disagree, dude. They would just fill it with some international guy.
You think they do like?
Dude, I think there's endless supply of international guys who have enough money to go to these private schools.
Are you sure? What
Yeah,
about the
I
public
think-
schools?
Well, public schools aren't making that much money off the students
That's
in
true.
state. So
Well, so do you really think that like the internet, these universities could completely fill with internationals and be
dude,
just
for
fine?
sure, endless international
Yeah.
guys.
That's true with masters though. That's true with
Yeah.
masters. Like,
yeah, there are literally endless
yeah.
guys that can fill.
if you look at like a computer science masters at these schools, even the state schools, it's just 80% international students.
yeah,
It's all just like Indian and Chinese international students leveraging it as like an opportunity to get like a OPT green card in the
Yeah.
US. I actually knew this guy. He's an international student. I'm not going to say his name because, you know, of recent events in politics. But basically, he told me like, dude, masters is like a green card. Like you just buy a green card. Like that's what he said. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, like it's useless. Like you just buy a green card. Like the tuition is
Yeah.
literally just buying a green card to be in the United States.
yeah. I don't know if the universities are the winners. I think the issue with new grad hiring, I think, is that there's an endless supply there's limited demand, especially with AI, because competent engineers are now so much more productive. But there still is a lack of very high quality candidates that are like
Mhm.
top top candidates, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
all these guys kind of, the issue is that so many people study computer science, but most people don't have the inherent interest or curiosity,
Mhm.
so they never get good. So
Yeah.
there's endless supply of like kind of mediocre candidates, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's literally like tens of thousands of mediocre candidates,
Yeah.
right? So there's no standout. Actually, the only people who are standouts are people who are genuinely interested, so they develop specific knowledge,
Yeah.
right? And they're like very niche
but
field.
you'll talk to one of these candidates, right? And be like, okay, like, can you explain what TCP is? And they'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Well, if they take in networking, they can probably explain
Dude,
it.
even if a lot of these guys take networking, still don't know like
Yeah.
these basic things, right?
Well, I think another part of
Yeah.
it is that's also why like our process works really well is that as soon as you take a mediocre guy and you teach him how to interview well
Yeah.
and like apply well, they're like it's like not that hard to get a job.
Yeah.
Basically. Like I think there's like there's such a trough of mediocre guys. But I guess going back to why you're able to get I think another note here is people I often think like would I go back and be a software engineer if like my business failed? Like if I could no longer coach people to get jobs in tech, if something happened and I failed and I had to go get a job, would I just go back and be a software engineer? And the answer is no.
No.
And
You wouldn't stand out.
I wouldn't stand out. I mean, obviously I could get like
Yeah.
a generic software engineering job, which I did before. But really where I do have specific knowledge is in the world of like business and sales and marketing and creators. And where I could actually get a very lucrative position as a job working for someone else is approaching one of these creator businesses and being like, I'll grow your business 3x with my like
Yeah.
knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Like I could approach Ali Abdal's team and that would be one
Sure.
option, or like Colin and Samir or one of these guys, right?
Like, yeah, if you had to get a job, I'm sure you could get like a deal that's at least 200K working for one of these guys, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could probably provide a significant value with one of these audiences, considering like the way my business grew with such a small audience in terms of
Yeah.
numbers. Like my in terms of my knowledge, my industry knowledge, it is so much more valuable in that department compared to just like, copy and paste engineer. But anyway, let's get into the topic of today, which is the topic of today's podcast. We were actually discussing this earlier. What should we talk about? And I think we're going to say are hard truths for young men age 18. Specifically,
hard truths.
hard truths. Specifically, if we could just like pull our 18-year-old self, 17, 18-year-old self who graduated high school the day after graduation aside and talk to them, what are the 2 to 4 things we would tell them to do?
Hard truths.
Hard truths for young men,
Yeah.
ages 18 to 22.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first with your hard truth?
Why don't you go first? I haven't thought of any yet. I have to think of them.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot, but the first one I think of is progressive overload, eat protein.
Dude, what?
Right? That's such a big one. You know what I mean? Getting like actually starting to lift in the gym properly. You had already been doing that before 18. But
Yeah,
I
it's not
started
something
the
I would
summer.
need to tell myself. But
Yeah, I started the
Yeah.
summer after I graduated high school. And I mean, I did it for like several years. I only started taking it seriously within like 2 to 3 years in. But that's like a huge one. I think if you're not already in the gym 3 to 5 days a week, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's like such a no-brainer life improvement. I can't even tell you why. It just is. Like, it's an axiom. Dude, I'm telling you. You're shaking your head, but it is. It is like, I'm telling you, dude, like, you have to
it's
be in
an
the gym.
axiom of masculinities to lift.
Yeah, you just have to. Every single person, I think it's lifting and just like consuming knowledge in some form. It's like those two things almost every single successful person does, right? I guess successful meaning like new age successful.
What do you mean new age success?
New age successful. I'll give you an example. So Charlie Morgan is this big entrepreneur who's doing $1 million a month in his business, as we've talked about him previously, revenue. And he has this mastermind in Dubai, and he posts like mastermind recordings from his masterminds in Dubai, right? Probably a couple times a year. And sometimes I'll click on those, and I'll look at like the people sitting there, and almost to a T. First of all, you will not see a single obese person or overweight person sitting in that crowd. There's like 30 guys sitting there. Number two, they'll be like, I don't think I've seen a single woman in that audience. It's like it's like 30 guys sitting there.
Yeah.
And then they're like wearing like nice clothes, and you can tell that they all lift because like their clothes are like tight. Like their shirts are, they're like wearing button down shirts that are tight, so their like muscles are sticking out. And they're sitting there, and they all have like their hair gelled back and stuff like that. They have like nice fade haircuts, and they're all sitting there. You can just tell. Like even Hormozy's Las Vegas things, right? His workshops.
Sure, but I think the pursuit of lifting just makes you feel more masculine, and it just kind of like keeps your discipline going. Yeah. As Hamza says, like, the gym has always been with me.
Dude, again, it's like
through the ups and downs of life.
And what's weird about it is like
through my relationships and breakups.
Yeah,
the
loss of Anastasia.
Yeah, the loss of women I've dated for years.
Yeah,
the woman I thought I was going to have children with. The gym was still with me.
And it's you can't really I can't explain to you what about the gym is different from any other pursuit. Like there could be other pursuits like basketball, right? Or music. But something about lifting, not even running, it's lifting weights, which is the difference. So I would say that it's probably the fastest way to build confidence. One of the fastest ways to build confidence in life is just getting big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I consider it like a self-improvement arbitrage opportunity. It's like if you want to just get confident and just go on self-improvement in a very straightforward, simple path, just get big.
I don't think it's an arbitrage opportunity because that kind of inherently implies that, because what is arbitrage, right? The definition is guaranteed profit with zero risk.
It's not zero risk arbitrage.
That is the definition.
Really?
But I would say
you're telling me that every arbitrage opportunity has zero risk.
The definition of arbitrage is zero risk profit. Yeah. Because it comes from a trading context in which there are misprices and separate markets or something along those lines, right? But I mean, this is kind of getting into the semantics, but I would agree that the effort you put in, you generally will get more out the first couple of years.
I mean, I'm sure.
I don't think it's an unexplored opportunity. I don't think that there's any alpha in going to the gym because it's known. But if you invest in it, I do think like you will get a good return.
I just looked up arbitrage. I think you're saying arbitrage purely in the trading context. I just said define arbitrage. It said low risk.
Okay, sure. I think what you meant is like more there's alpha in going to the gym, right?
There is alpha in going to the gym.
But it's well known, so there's not really alpha because everyone knows.
I think you think everyone knows because you're in the community where everyone knows about lifting. Because everyone's
I think nowadays, like
maybe
everybody knows. Like Huberman's there, like Chris Williamson is there. Okay, like all these guys.
Let me give you an example, right? Let's go back to high school. We're not talking about college, right? High school, sure. A lot of guys lift more now than ever before, right? But if I still look at like a high school class of men, dude, like how many of them are like you can tell that they lift? What percent of those guys standing there?
Sure, and we're kind of addressing guys from our background that like very. Like nerdy. Our interests were like academics, like music, this kind of thing, not sports.
South Asian nerdy guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys who are like a little bit ugly because like they don't know how to like look smacks, right? Like it's these guys, like South Asian nerdy guys, right? I'm telling you, you line those guys up, 10 guys, I'm telling you, maybe one or two will be like, okay, that I don't even think you could like, even if they do lift, you probably can't even notice it.
At age 17 or something.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. Yeah. We did the summer camp called SSTP in high school. It was at the University of Iowa. And there were like a lot of Indian, Asian high achievers there. And one guy's name was Jeffrey Lee. And maybe he's listening to this. I would be shocked if he was. He was a cool guy, right? But he was known to be like the really jacked guy of the group, right? But looking at photos back, I'm not like shitting on Jeffrey Lee or something. I'm sure he's much more muscular now. But back then, I'm looking at a photo and I'm like, dude, this guy's not like... Like, I perceived it.
He actually introduced me to the gym. And he was benching 95. And I was like, wow. Or maybe like 105. Less than a plate for sure, right? And I was like, wow. This guy is so huge.
This guy got in trouble because like, I don't... Like, there was some kind of altercation that happened. And because he was like known to be like almost like gorilla mode, like this like really jacked guy, like he got in trouble or something. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, there was like this guy was known to be really, really. He was the most muscular guy I'd ever laid eyes on in a context like that. And dude, he
Yeah.
was like benching 100 pounds or something.
Yeah.
So I'm
He was like
telling
doing
you,
105 for sets of like 6 or something. Like, wow. Like,
yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you pull a high school class aside, it's of nerdy guys. These are even the sports guys. Like, they're not really that muscular. Okay, maybe they lift because they have to in school, right? Like, for example, like if you look at the tennis team, we knew a lot of Indian people who played tennis, right? I'm not going to mention any of their names, but like, you know who I'm talking about. There are a lot of guys who were just in tennis. All of them were in lifting. They were not in gym. Many of them were not in gym. They were in lifting, right? But if they hit like a front double bicep, you're not like seeing like
Yeah.
they don't look jacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so your hard truth number one.
My
is
first
that
hard truth is like,
lifting
dude, just
is
get in the
of
gym.
utmost importance.
Dude, it's probably one of the most important things in my entire life. At least like that has
Yeah.
contributed to my like self-improvement over the past 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even that good at lifting. I mean, like, I know a lot about it, but okay, I honestly, like, this is a cope, but I feel like my genes are not that good. Like,
Dude, what? Yeah.
dude, I'm just being
being
objective. No, I don't think your genes are better than mine. I think you were better at. I'm not comparing me to you. I'm comparing me
I
to
got
like
pretty in just 4 to 5 years. I got pretty far
yeah.
at lifting.
I'm not
Yeah.
comparing me to you. I'm comparing me to like random black dudes off the street.
Dude,
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, even Hamza says this, right? And he's pretty good. South Asian genes are like bottom of the barrel for lifting. Honestly,
Are you sure?
dude, I'm telling you,
I think that like it's just not in the culture, so you don't see those outliers.
dude. I know, like, I'm telling you, like, just based off of you just think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the average is a little bit lower, which causes like less prominent figures on the tails. For sure, like compared to like like Samoan people or something, or like African American people, for sure.
Or even
right?
like Middle Eastern guys, like
Yeah,
our
but
friend
like
Yusuf.
Middle Eastern guys.
Yeah,
Middle Eastern guys.
Yeah. Like, okay, Mike Isertel said, remember when he was asked, what is the most important contribution to your physique? Genetics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's just known
Yeah,
that
maybe the average is lower, right?
yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think it's such a huge difference that like if a South Asian guy goes to the gym, let's say 75th percentile outcome versus 75th percentile like white guy, there's not a huge difference. On the extremes, like 90 plus percentile, 95th percentile, then fine. But I think for most people, it's not a huge difference.
dude, I mean, fine. It's not going to make like a life and death difference. But like, for example, we just know, like, we know some guys who it's not like, do you think like Yusuf is so unbelievably locked in?
Dude,
Like-
Yusuf's genes are unbelievably exceptional though.
Like, I'm telling you.
Dude, this guy was like deadlifting 700 at 19 or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think another
Yeah.
part of it is my physique is still better than most men. Like I will like go surf or something with like a group of friends and then take my
Yeah.
shirt off and I'll just look around and like my physique is better than like
Dude, somehow your results are just subpar for lifting for like 5
dude,
6
I'm
years.
telling you, it's kind of sad. Like why are my
Dude.
why are my results so subpar?
Dude, but my results were not subpar. Like
I don't know why.
got to a good place.
I think I think I know why. There's two things. I think one is that you were always just lean. Like leanness makes a huge difference in terms of like
Yeah.
definition.
I think you missed the window of lifting during puberty to really
Yeah.
expand your skeletal system.
Yeah. I think because one, you're younger than me. Two, you started lifting 1 to 2 years before I did.
Yeah.
And three, your puberty was later than mine. Right? You just like hit that sweet spot. It's like my friend Duncan, he's like half white, half Asian. He started lifting at like 11 or something.
Yeah.
He benched 295 or something the last time I saw him. And like he did a DEXA and it was 10% body fat. And he's like, dude, I train like casually like 1-2 times a week. Like I'm not trying that hard.
This is 10 years in though. So
Yeah. His brother's name was Tristan. No, his brother's name is Andrew. I was confusing with another Tristan and Andrew. Yeah. His brother's name is Andrew, and he's 2 or 3 years younger than me. And he just like went into the UW-Madison gym and he's like, dude, I'm gonna hit a PR. I'm gonna hit a PR. And then he slapped on three plates and he did it on the bench.
Yeah.
And he got a DEXA scan and his bone density was the highest the DEXA scan guy has ever seen.
So what was his T score?
It was like 99.9 percentile bone density because he'd been playing football since like 7 or 8 years old and he was weight training.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane. So I think I think I missed the boat a little bit, but not like at a point where I can't lift. Like I'm gonna be fine. My physique is already decent compared to the average person. I still care about it. I still find it valuable, but I highly regret not starting when I was like 13 years old.
I think it's fine. You're also 6'3".
That's also another thing. Like the amount of mass I have to look as muscular as a guy who's like 5'6".
Yeah.
It's insane how different that is.
Yeah, but somehow I got to a good place. Like, so I kind of fell off lifting this last year. Probably in the last 365 days, I probably went like 90 times to the gym, 90 to 100 times, right? But a year ago, I was 21. Dude, if I sent you a picture, you'd be like, wow. Dude. I was like probably 16, 17% body fat, which is like, okay, it's not great, but it's like reasonable at 195 pounds at 6'3". So I think that's a pretty good place to get despite being South Asian, right? At the same time, I think I'm like, not anymore. I was probably the biggest Indian guy you knew.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think there's anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even many people online, right? Like, I don't see many really jacked Indian guys. It's only Hamza.
Yeah, it's just Hamza.
It's just Hamza. And Captain Sinbad, I guess, is like a runner-up a little bit. In terms of like a fitness guy.
I would say he's good at fitness, but I don't think he's that big. Like,
yeah.
He's probably 150 something pounds.
So. Yeah, I think it's just Hamza, right? Who's like the most big. For you, first of all, 195 at 16% body fat is really good. You have a lot of muscle. Like I'm 195 right now, and I'm probably like 23% body fat still.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
and I'm gonna cut to like
that's a good 14 pounds of muscle difference,
dude. Like, how 14, do you have that? Like,
pounds.
I don't think you like what? yeah. Like what caused it? I think it was timing, dude. I'm telling you, it was timing of like there was just some kind of speed boost you got by doing it when like you were just entering puberty and exiting puberty. You like dedicated your life, one part of your life to lifting.
I was locked in though. I was locked in for like 4 or 5 years straight.
Many years. I think your diet, you had high calories, high protein.
Yeah, locked in.
So like it was like a perfect muscle building milieu during that time where it was like high protein, high calories, like bolus of testosterone because you're going through puberty, like like your skeleton was growing too. So
yeah, I don't even think I finished puberty until like 20 or something, 20 or 20. Because my beard just like exploded at 20 or 21.
Yeah, your beard exploded at 20, 21.
Yeah,
I think that made a huge difference. All right, do you have a single hard truth or no?
Yeah, I think one more comment is like let's say Mike Isertel her like 195, 60% body fat. He would think that's mediocre, right? But
I think he's knowledgeable enough to know that that's not mediocre for the average person.
Dude, I think he thinks it's mediocre.
Compared to like him, obviously.
He has incredibly high standards. Like these actual like big guys have huge, like very high standards. But then if you compare to the population, that is probably objectively like 99th percentile physique, right?
Yeah.
So
do you know how much Mike Isertel weighs and what his height is?
Dude, he's like 5'6", 230 or something.
He's 230, 5'6", 9 to 10% body fat.
Yeah.
His quads and glutes have striations. And he's like...
And then
he's 230.
He said like without even exogenous steroid use, he would still be like 205, 210, probably 12 to 14% body fat at 5'6".
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's insane. Like the amount of... First of all, obviously his lifting knowledge is unbelievable, but his genetics are also really good.
Yeah.
Like I've been training for years. I've been training for 5 years and I can barely be like 180 pounds at like 15% body fat. Like
at 6'3", this guy's like 5'6".
At 6'3", yeah, dude. Like, and I don't think I'm doing anything that crazy wrong. Like I eat good amount of protein per day. Maybe I could be like a little bit more. It's not like I'm eating 50 grams of protein. I train pretty hard. Like I'm in the gym 3 to 4 days a week for years.
Yeah.
With a coach for years. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm telling you, this is why I think my genetics are not.
Well,
that good.
I think my genetics probably are better than yours too.
They probably
for lifting.
are. Like, even though we're not probably like night
Like
and
when
day.
we were kids, you were always kind of skinny fat, and I was always just skinny.
Yeah. I think I have a higher body fat set point than you two.
Yeah.
Meaning like you could be like, if you were 20% body fat, your visceral fat would be exploding. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you would be so unhealthy at 20% body fat. Whereas
Yeah.
me, I could be like 25% body fat, get a DEXA, and it would still like, there's a chance it would still say 0 visceral fat. Like,
It did. You had a DEXA at like 26%. It said 0 visceral fat.
yeah.
I had a DEXA at 16.6 or something percent body fat. I had like 0.5 pounds of visceral fat or something like that.
Yeah. It kind of just goes
Yeah.
to show like our set points are different.
And 16 to 70% body fat was high for me. Like I was bulking, like eating a lot to get
Yeah.
there. My natural setting point probably would be like 13, 14, something like
Yeah.
that.
You're like natural. You're a very lean individual naturally.
Yeah.
Do you have another hard truth?
I would say like academically, learn things properly and don't procrastinate on learning things in general. I think during college, I did a lot of procrastination and I regret not learning things properly in that I did learn things well, but not as well as I could have. I didn't work as hard as I could have in college. Probably did like 3 to 4 hours a day max. So I think both learning things properly and actually working hard for an extended period of time, I like definitely regret not doing that.
I feel like I have the opposite stance on this. I don't think it matters. Like you will do what you do.
It matters what field you're going into. Like I'm still going into a very technical field, so it does matter.
I have a strong feeling that you can tell someone, learn this properly, you shouldn't procrastinate. But when they have no intrinsic interest in the thing, it's like almost impossible to like hijack
But
your
the
brain
thing
to
is,
make yourself do
I
this thing.
had intrinsic interest
You did?
in these
You
things.
just still didn't
Yeah.
do it?
I just
Why
didn't
not?
do it. And if I had done it, I would have been farther than I am today. Right? So I think if you are like top 0.1% technically, the landscape of opportunity to you is like endless, right? You can do a lot. So if you have the capacity of achieving that, then I think maximizing that is still nowadays probably the highest leverage thing you can do.
I don't think it's possible to do that without intrinsic interest, though. That's a
Yeah,
hard
but
stance
you
I
need to have intrinsic interest and talent. You need these two things.
Yeah.
Which I had, but I didn't work hard enough to like get to whatever, like 1 out of 10,000 level technical ability, right? So
I have a sense, I don't think you really had that intrinsic interest, though. People with intrinsic interest, they don't have to be in it. Like, let's say you just threw them on, like, put them in an apartment with a laptop, they're like building projects just by themselves. Yeah. Those are people with intrinsic interest. Like, if you were just on an island, not on an island, like if you were just by yourself and you, like, let's say I just gave you $10 million, right? Like, you're not going to be building projects. Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, these guys with intrinsic interest, they're just doing it because they love it. You know, in the world of coding and software engineering, we knew some guys like that. We had one or two friends who were just building projects all day long from the age of 9 or 10 years old because they genuinely cared about it.
I don't consider building CRUD apps technical, though. I mean, like actual technical things.
Like what specifically?
You know, like understanding like the Linux kernel really well, right?
Okay, but even with that
kind of thing,
like if I gave you $10 million, like in a couple weeks, am I going to catch you like understanding the Linux kernel? Like,
dude, I would still try to build something quite technical.
Like, would you really? Things. Like, would you really be like, I don't know, like I would catch you like reading like the source code, or like I don't know what I'm saying here, right? But you know what I mean? I don't think
I'm interested in this stuff, dude. I like this stuff.
Really?
Dude, yeah, I watched like these random Jane Street talks about a guy who's like improving the OCaml compiler just randomly. I like it.
Do you genuinely enjoy this stuff?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it in college or no?
Yes.
Really? Then why didn't you do it? That doesn't make any sense.
I just didn't do it because I was lazy and I watched YouTube instead.
You're just lazy? Like, okay, I'll give you my example, right? This is why I don't buy it. Because when I intrinsically care about things, I do it. Like I did YouTube for 5 years.
You do it when the reward is more than the alternative. And my alternative was watching YouTube. So then I didn't do it.
Okay, that I guess that makes sense. Like, but I wonder why did I do the things that like I don't think I would have benefited if I just did my classes better.
But that's not your
Yeah.
specific knowledge or spike.
Mhm.
Technical knowledge is not your like specific knowledge. So it doesn't matter for you.
Do you really think like the problem was that you just like watched YouTube and you cared about it, you intrinsically liked it, you just didn't do it because you watched YouTube?
Yeah, I just didn't work hard enough. I didn't put enough work in.
Has that changed or is it the same?
But no, it has changed. I'm working now.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was working like that throughout college, I would have been in even better place than I am now.
I have a sense that you're unable to work without a clear goal or direction.
Yeah, that is true. That's kind of like a personality trait, maybe.
Yeah, you're like simply unable to work. Like when you lose faith in a goal or direction, you just can't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now I have a sense that you have focus for like the last few weeks at least.
The focus is I need to optimize my chances of getting a job that I'm quite interested in.
Yeah, but you didn't have that for like the last year. I guess you had like sprints where you were working on these startups and then you were focused on those.
Yeah, but then when like the interpersonal conflict piece came in, then I like lost my focus, right?
Yeah, as soon as you lost your focus, you would just have these like couple months of drifting here and there, like not really doing anything. And then you'd like get some focus and then you'd be sprinting for like a month and then you'd like lose it again.
Well, really, it was just the last 2 months when I was trying to figure out what to do next. But yeah,
I remember calling you and you were like, "Dude, like I'm done. I'm cooked."
That was like the last 2 months after we quit the second startup thing.
Yeah, I think maybe you're more like you act more like a lion who's just like unable to do anything unless you see some prey on the horizon. Yeah. Whereas I kind of operate more like, I don't know what animal does this, but I'm able to just like continuously chug along without like a specific, even though I am kind of like that where I kind of lose faith a little bit. But yeah, so your hard truth is do something properly. Like find something you're interested in, learn it properly.
Yeah, legitimately do your best at something and do not choose not to do your best just because the result is stochastic, right? Like it's not guaranteed. So, yeah.
Don't like not work as hard because there's risk involved and it's not guaranteed the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I have another hard truth for young men.
Hard truths for young men.
I think this is one that Chris Williamson and Hamza like to talk about a lot, but I really resonate with the lonely chapter, honestly. And specifically, it is better to have no friends than bad friends.
But when did you have bad friends after
Dude,
you were
like
18?
all of my high school friends.
When you were 18.
Yeah.
Let's sure. Okay, let's say your high school friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like all of these guys. Like my life would have been better if I just talked to none of them. If I just cut every single person off and I was just lonely for like multiple years, my life would have been better. Right? Sure. So sometimes to like go from where you are to where you want to be, you kind of have to just like be done with like everyone in the past. You know? I think like I was coming home every weekend like in high school and stuff like that. I was unable to let go.
Yeah, so you let go within like a year of graduating high school. So
yeah, but I was forced to let go.
Yeah.
I think the best people elect to let go. Right? They like I think the problem was like I had like status in high school, right? So that was kind of like I felt like I went to college, I just like didn't have any of that. And it like my mentally was like, oh, like I have to preserve this, so I have to like not let go. But like there's a lot of people who they're like, dude, like I'm going to college, like I'm gonna like meet all new people, they're excited. They like don't talk to their like friends at home, they're done, they're like meeting all these new people. I think that would have been a better situation than what I did.
Yeah.
I also think this comes from Naval. Did you listen to Naval, Chris Williamson?
I listened to like half of it, I think.
I
watched his vlog. Did you watch his vlog?
Dude, his Chris Williamson's amazing, honestly. Like
dude, he's sitting on the balcony, he's like, I've worked 8 years to be here.
Yeah.
It's like Rogan and Naval in a single week. This is the peak of my career.
Yeah, this is the peak of my entire career. I've done this is what everything I've been working for.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, Chris Williamson's like my number one like icon right now. He's like the guy I look up to most. Dude, he's unreal, Chris Williamson. Yeah. Also, a side note: did you know that Steven Bartlett's only like 31?
Bartlett.
He started Duac at like 24 or 25.
What is Duac?
Diary of a CEO.
Oh, that's good.
He started Diary of a CEO at 24, 25.
Bartlett.
At 19, he started Social Chain, the company that sold for over $100 million. That's how he made his money.
I find his conversations very rudimentary, though. Like, they're not very in depth.
I mean, it's not like, what's his name? Dwarkesh, like.
Yeah, dude, like, they're like, kind of like made for like 110 IQ. Like, you know, like that's kind of like the conversation level.
I mean, it's still enjoyable regardless. Like, I listened to his Peter Attia one. That was pretty good. I liked it. Like, I still enjoy some of. Obviously, it's not as in depth. It's not as complicated. It's not as complex as some other conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you
even
need that.
Naval, like at 17, Naval seemed extremely insightful, right? It was like, wow, how can someone know so much and have such clear thought?
Yeah.
But then you listen to Naval now, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is obvious.
I don't think so. I think like many of his insights were like, wow, like that's amazing.
One time, Naval was talking about how communication, and he was talking about how if we like didn't communicate and we had to set up a meeting, we would meet at Times Square when the ball dropped on New Year's Eve because we would both implicitly understand that. And I was like, wait, that makes no sense, dude.
That does make sense.
Dude, that
does make sense. No, I've used that example before with other. That makes sense. How does that not make sense?
That makes no sense, dude. That is not how most people would arrive. Like, oh, let's just go show up at Times Square.
No,
like,
dude, I'm telling you, that is what I thought. Like, I remember, I know what you're talking about. I remember thinking, where would it be? I paused it and thought it would be at New Year's on the top of the Empire State Building.
What?
I'm telling you, like
like,
if you had to meet someone at a place and a time, it's gonna be New Year's. So either time, I think there's the Empire State Building specifically at the top.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the magic of Naval is kind of gone.
I mean, I don't know what it's less than it was previously. That's for sure. Like, I re-listened to the Joe Rogan episode. I really liked it still, but it wasn't as profound as it was originally. But I still like his Chris Williamson episode. Like, I listened to it twice, the whole 3 hours, and I thought it was really good. Like, there were multiple moments that I was like, wow, like that's like very insightful.
So what is one example of that?
He was talking about like the Stag's Hunt. You remember that one?
Hunt?
He was talking about how most people think that like games in life are like the prisoner's dilemma, which the prisoner's dilemma goes to like betray, right? Like both people screw each other over. That's like one of like the equilibrium points. Whereas he said most games in like life are actually a stag's hunt. Do you remember what he said about that?
Yeah, he was like, most games are like a stag's hunt in which the optimal strategy for all players is to cooperate and generate wealth for the entire player ecosystem.
We could either like not work together and both eat squirrels, or we could work together and we could take down a stag. You know what I mean? That was interesting. I think another Navalism that I like from that one is not wanting something is the same as getting it.
Yeah.
that was pretty nuts. Like not wanting something is the same as getting it.
That's good.
That's pretty insane.
I agree with his point about first understanding what to want is the first step. I agree. That's good. That's pretty good.
There were many Navalisms.
Yeah.
Another thing where he talked about was like stress versus anxiety, like what is stress and what is anxiety, and he gives the example of like an iron beam. When an iron beam is under stress, it's being pulled in different directions. So you only feel stress when you have different priorities that conflict and you cannot decide between them. So for example, if I'm stressed out because of a project due tomorrow. You're only stressed out because you want to like not work on it, or you want to like go to sleep, you want to do something else, and you also want to work on it, you also want to do well. Therefore,
you're stressed because there are two outcomes, and you were anxious about like what's going to happen. Outcome one is like you're getting pulled in the direction of you fail. Outcome two is like you work hard, and then like basically the risk is like what's stressing you out.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's the not able to make a decision that's stressful.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you decide on something, what is there to stress about? You've decided. Like, you're doing this. Like, you know it's going to be the best outcome. Like, even if there's a risk that it's not going to work out, like, you know the risk, right? It's like, what is stressful? I feel like the stress is not knowing
Yeah,
what
I think the
to
stress
decide
is
on.
sitting there thinking like, I'm not gonna like sit here and actually work on this.
Yeah, like, what am I supposed to
Yeah.
do, basically? Like, you're stressed out when you're like, should I make a business or should I get a job? And which business should I start? That's like the most stressful. It's like, dude, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point. Whereas now you're not stressed out as much
Yeah,
because
I've
you're
made
like,
a
I have a
decision.
direction.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just do it. Like, when you have a path, it's not stressful.
Yeah.
So I thought Naval was good. But I guess what was my hard truth for young men age 18 was, it's better just to like cut out those people and just like leave them and have no one than it is to keep them around. And the pain is worth it. I think another example, this might be like a little bit adjacent, but just exerting your boundaries in life and like not being ashamed to exert those. Like, for example,
Yeah, I agree.
like Naval talks about this. Oh, Naval, dude, he's like, I'm very selfish. I'm extremely selfish. Just do what you want. Like, if you want to go somewhere, go. If you don't want to go, so say, I'm not going. Like, just do what you want. Like, you, other people, like, for example, his email domain was I don't do coffee, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just do what you want. I think another example of this is like when I go with my friends and hang out with them, they always want to stay up really late. They always want to stay up till like 10:30, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. They always want to do that. And I just like, no, I'm just leaving. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's fine. And I'm so
an
much
example
happier.
of this in college, my first semester junior year, my friends would kind of just show up at my apartment and kind of use it as a community space, right? And it would be very distracting. Like I wouldn't be able to focus. But I let them use it for probably 3 months straight. Every day, at least one of them would show up and just kind of sit there and work there, right? Like be chatting, etc. And then I was like, all right, guys, you're not coming anymore unless I invite you.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all it takes is just a simple command. It's like, you're not coming.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going. You're not coming. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think
But
just relying.
I feel like I learned this behavior at I was 19, then turning 20. I think by then I basically learned that it doesn't matter. Just do what you want in life.
I think I have to relearn this a lot. Like, it's often with people I care about too. Like, let's say my girlfriend asked me to do something and I don't want to do it. Like, she's like, oh, let's go somewhere. And like, let's say I don't want to go. In the past, I'd be like, oh, like, no, I have to go. Like, I'm going to go. I'm going to do all this stuff. Or a friend invites me to go somewhere and I already say yes. I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. Or actually, no, I'll give you an example. Our cousin, Swaycha, she lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is about 30 to 40 minutes away from Raleigh. And there's a climbing gym near to her and there's a climbing gym near to me. And I wanted to go climbing. And Swaycha said, like, do you really want to do the one in Raleigh? Or like, I can do that, but like, I would prefer the one near me. And I was like, really like, dude, like, I don't want to go that far. Like, yeah, I was like getting stressed out because I was thinking, oh, like I'm a bad cousin or something if I say come here and drive extra. Then I was thinking, what would Naval do? Naval would say like, we're doing it in Raleigh, or I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said like a version of that. I was like, we can do it potentially in Chapel Hill next time, but like, I really want to. I've been traveling a lot. I want to do it here. She was like, okay, that's fine. We'll go in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Dude, just do whatever you want. Like, that's kind of a lesson, honestly. Also with I mean, I don't think our parents have this problem anymore, but just exerting your will, like, now I'm doing this. I think a lot of people, they feel like they can't do that. They can't just declare what they're doing.
Sure.
All right.
Dude, you have to leave now?
No, I have like about 5 more minutes before I'm going.
Hard truths for young
Hard
men.
truths for young men.
Yeah. I think you probably have a hard truth about women.
A hard truth about women?
Yeah.
Hamza's like, she's not all that.
Yeah. I think you learned a lot of lessons when it comes to dating.
Yeah, I did. But I didn't know any of these. I just kind of stumbled into a good relationship, honestly.
Sure, but you don't have any hard truths from like your lessons or anything?
Well, I think I don't really have any hard truths about dating. Like, what would I say? Well, to my 18-year-old self, there's a lot I would say. Yeah. But like something that can be generalized. Like for example, Link and Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning actually said this. A word of advice is just end the relationship after high school. Like it's probably not going to work out in college. Like don't just bring it into college, right? But no one's ever going to do that because you always think it's going to work out, and it has worked out for our little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't give that advice, right? Because it's not like generally applicable. I would say, I guess, do you have any ones or no?
I only started dating last year, so I don't think I have hard truths
Yeah.
about.
When it comes to dating, I think I was happy I got the reps in. I think that was like a whole inversion. Basically, like our family thought I was like morally wrong for dating in high school. I think it was great. I think it's fine. I think you should date in high school. I think you should date whenever you want to date. I don't see what the problem is.
True.
Yeah, I think you just like get the reps in. You learn. So there's no problem. We're not gonna say these names. There was a girl I was interested in high school, and I was on FaceTime with one of my friends who we know. And we were all on a FaceTime together, right? And then they were both scrolling TikTok while we were all on FaceTime.
Dude, what?
So I didn't even know, this was like 2019, so I didn't know what TikTok was. And I was like, what are these guys doing? Like they were both like, I don't know if they were on their laptop or something, but they were independently scrolling TikTok at the same time. And I could hear like the music playing like, from their phones. And I was like kind of awkwardly sitting there like,
Dude,
I didn't really understand what was going on.
Nothing makes me look down on someone with more contempt than someone who's scrolling TikTok with all the music random sounds playing.
And it's with their volume on too.
Yeah, like why are you playing like this out loud?
Why is your volume on? And like you can just tell like the level of brain rot by like the speed that they scroll.
Yeah.
Like if someone scrolls on TikTok and they're watching the whole thing, then they watch the whole thing. That's like very different behavior than these guys who are like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No, I remember like I still think back to that because again I didn't know what TikTok was. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Oh, we're on TikTok. I was like, "What?" Like I was kind of confused, but I thought it was a music app. I thought they were like playing songs or something for themselves. I didn't really understand what it was. That they were like, but the fact that someone's on a FaceTime call while also scrolling TikTok, like,
Yeah.
yeah. My hard truth is going to be, don't like these people are degens if you like actually strip away like the allure of these people. Like even women, like these guys are degens a lot of the time. So like, why are you wasting your time with them? But the problem is that you don't care.
A lot of your old friends, you mean?
Yeah, like a lot of them are like just degenerates in the way they act and behave. Like they don't talk properly, they don't act properly. Like if you just objectively analyze the way they talk and do things, it's like. Also, one thing Hamza talked about is he's like these guys from high school, like they're just rude. Like, yeah, they're just mean. They're like not nice people. Like they're just mean for no reason. You know what I mean? Like he talked about how
I haven't experienced that though.
Okay, he just hung out with his high school or college friend like a couple years back, and then his water bottle was on the table, and then so he was sitting on the bed. His friend was here, and then the water bottle was next to his friend. And then Hamza says, "Oh, like, can you grab my water bottle?" And he's like, "Get it yourself."
Dude, maybe his friends were just rude.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is my friends too. Like,
Dude, your friends were also rude.
Dude, like, I'm telling you, like, we know there's some common people we know. They were just not like kind people. They were not people who like look out for others. They were not people who were like, oh, like for example, there would be times where there would be events at our house, and certain people would just like, I'm not cleaning up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have another friend who we were at the gym with, and then he would ask me to drive him home every day. I think he's fine now. And then I asked
this
him,
guy was also like 15 back then, so I don't know.
I'm telling you, this is kind of the behavior of like high schoolers, like.
Dude,
and I'm sure I was like that too.
They're rude in high school, but most of them are normal after.
Sometimes.
You're stating that a lot of these guys are still like weird, like 3 to 5 years after.
A lot of these guys are like really weird. Like I haven't talked to any of them, but dude, I'm like there was one time where I interacted with some of these guys at like I went to go see Arsh at something, our younger brother, and I saw some of them there. And they wouldn't even like look at me.
Like these guys.
This was like 2 years ago. Like
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think these people change. I don't think people really change that much. I think it's and actually, I mean, there were people in high school who were fine. Like, I'm good friends with Jacob McCready. I think he's a good guy. He's like a cool guy, good friend of mine. But
sure,
yeah, I think I don't know what the hard truth was, there. You can't really tell. The reason why I can't give you one is because I know that if I told my high school self, they would have like not paid attention or listened. So you kind of have to learn. I guess one of the hard truths is you kind of have to learn these things by yourself anyway. So,
Sure.
all right, do you have a recommendation?
Maybe we can continue hard truths for young men.
Yeah. Hard. We can come up with some hard truths and continue in part 2.
Hard truths.
Yeah. I guess my recommendation is the Naval Part 1, which is the Joe Rogan Naval episode, and Naval Part 2, which is the Chris Williamson Naval episode.
Yeah, I don't think I really have a recommendation. I re-listened to the Mistborn trilogy recently.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
But like I already liked it, already have recommended it before. So
did you like it still?
Yeah, it was good because I got my girlfriend to read it, so that's why I really
Wait, she read it?
She's on the Well of Ascension now. Yeah.
That's really good. Wait, is she like reading it or listening to it?
Listening to it.
Did she buy it or did she use our account?
No, she bought it.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
I gave Ophelia our account. Because she didn't want to buy it.
Yeah, I made her buy it.
That's good. That's funny. Fun. All right. We'll talk to you next week then. Have a good one.